Hey, 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 what's going on, everybody? This is Hunter. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Today, I'm going to be taking you on a tour of the 2025 Stratus 241VRK. And that VRK stands for Venture Rear Kitchen. So this is a travel trailer made by Venture. It is a KZ subsidiary, and it is a very nicely well-built unit. Now, the nice thing, too, about Stratus is if this one doesn't hit the mark for you in terms of like floor plan being the rear kitchen, you know, maybe you need some bunks or you're looking for something a little bit bigger or smaller or whatever it might be. They offer 11 different floor plans at a pretty good size reference point. So ranging from, I believe, 23 to 34 feet. Also the same thing with weight ranges. I mean, just a wide variety from light to small. So there's a lot of good range for this brand compared to a lot of other brands. But today we're going to spend probably about 10 to 15 minutes kind of going through this thing and, you know, maybe give you everything that you need to possibly purchase it or at least, you know, narrow this thing down to a short list, you know, when you go down to a dealership. And speaking of dealerships, today I am down at Funtown RV's PDI facility, which is where, you know, they send in this unit, it gets a full check through, and then it ships out to one of their, you know, 30 plus locations across the country. But it's an extra little, you know, kind of added barrier of protection. Now, one thing too that I want to point out, there's two things that I really enjoy about this, aside from like, you know, the floor plan and the aesthetics. They are using the BAL system, which is pretty cool. It's a really easy way to, you know, control all your stabilizers. You know, I would consider it kind of like an auto leveling system. I mean, it's just, you know, retract, extend the front right, front left, all in one kind of compact area, which is nice. They're also a receiver of the DSI Quality Award, which it's kind of one of those, you know, kind of one of those fluff awards to where it's a dealership award. So obviously it's going to be a little bit biased. However, in each segment, there is going to be a brand that is voted upon by the dealers as what is their preferred dealership in terms of, you know, going through something like this, like a PDI or a check through. And this was the winner for the segment. So it's pretty darn cool. The people that are selling it, you know, that are obviously making the money off of it, you know, and I think it would probably gear towards which brands are selling better or more than others. So there's a little bit of, you know, a little bit of bias there, like I was saying. But the fact is they voted on it to be most satisfied, and they don't vote for brands that give them headaches. So to me, as someone who hasn't personally sold these or owned one, it's nice to know that at least the people that are selling them have the most confidence in this. This is one of their preferred dealership or one of the preferred brands for any reason. So I think that's pretty cool. But like I said, pretty classic rear kitchen setup. However, they do a couple little twists on this. One, they're using a little bit of a bigger slide than a lot of your brands. So your refrigerator is going to be over here as opposed to right by the entrance of the door. And then you have your, you know, your drop down dinette kind of sleeper area with a TV. But then they add in this, and this is pretty darn cool because it's a little extra place to sit down. Maybe it's a working desk. Maybe you have some guests over. Even though this isn't a big camper, now you have the ability to bring the grandkids, but also have a place to where you can sit down, have a meal, and kind of join the conversation. It also gives you an excuse to get a little bit of extra, you know, storage, and that door opens the same, you know, as that with that bar top. Now, these are not overwhelmingly expensive. However, they're going to be in that upper kind of mid-level tier where you are going to get, you know, the hard wrap plastic there for the top, which, babe, if you're watching, I love you. So not the solid surface countertops, but this isn't the brand that's going to break the bank while it remains still a high quality construction build, which I think is nice. So the rear kitchen setup, you know, pretty classic. You're going to get a lot of good countertop space. You have your 3-top burner to whip up all the fixings. You're also going to get an oven, you know, big enough for like a little fancy Cornish hen or, you know, pizza, cookies, whatever it might be. But you also get the glass top here, which is just a, you know, pretty pinkies up look, nothing special. But I do like the Venture RV cutting board. I think that's kind of a cool way for them to advertise while giving you a little extra oomph. You got the, oh, look at that, mirrored reflective finish. Let me see, I'll show off the old bowling gun, baby. Doing it early today. But it's got everything that you need. The old potato and frozen dinner mode, baby. The wood, it does feel like it's a real wood. Yeah, it's got the screws in there. So really, anytime you see the screws, you can almost tell it's a real wood. Because otherwise it would you know, kind of split up on you. So it's nice to have that. And then you got your stainless steel, you know, undermounted bowl with your high-rise faucet. Whoosh, 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 hitting those dishes from all angles. You got the old Dracula shade to stop the skin from sizzling. Tinted windows. and a rear window that does open up. So a lot of times that rear window won't open. You know, kind of the one next to the sink is left forgotten. If you got stuff, you got room for stuff. You're going to get 8 pull-out drawers, all of which are going to be just like the one I just showed you. And then what's also nice is you have room for a garbage can, but then also maybe some of like your cleaning supplies, you know, your different dishwasher solution, or not dishwasher, so I wish I had a dishwasher. Your different dish solutions, garbage can, bags, you know, all that kind of good stuff. Your control panel, pretty basics. This is not an overwhelmingly large camper. You have your slide out control right here, your awning retract, your lights, you know, pretty darn easy to shut off and on. Then you can check all your tank levels, water pump, and then your tank heaters as well. If you're not familiar with that, a tank heater is basically a 12-volt pad that sticks on the bottom of your tanks, so you can use this thing a little bit later or longer into the season. Back over to the slide. It's not quite super slide status, but it does look like it goes back probably, you know, 2.5 feet, I would say there. But it allows you really everything that you need. A little bit of food storage here with some adjustable shelving, so I like that. Maybe you could turn it into a closet, you know, if you needed it. But you also get, you know, a little bit of a larger refrigerator, which is nice. It's going to be a 10.7 12-volt refrigerator, so it'll run off the solar. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it has a 200-watt solar panel up top. But you'll definitely want to check, you know, with your salesperson on that to make sure that I'm not misspeaking. Information will also be down in the description, along with a price link as well. So if you want to see it at various locations there with Funtown, you'll have that linked up for you. You have your theater seating, which is nice, but it's also kind of like a love seat as well. So you can roll this up. Now you're snuggling up with honey buns. You put it down, and you're holding hands with honey buns. You got yourself your 2 cup holders. So if you're drinking some juice, you're good to go. Outlets, USBs, a little heat and massage, but that massage is, excuse me, kind of more of like a vibrate, just kind of, you know, buzzes you, but it's good to lure you to sleep. And then you have a pull tab right there. It's also going to be, let me sit down here, show you the old pigglies for proof. It's in a good eye shot there of the TV, and if I pull it in a little bit, you know, you could see the TV is not overwhelmingly huge. It looks like it's probably, say like a 40, maybe like a 40-inch, 42-inch, something like that. So respectable size for sure. You do get your Coleman Mach upgraded AC, so that's going to be a 15K AC. What's nice about these ones is it's got a home filter on it. So if you're someone like, you know, myself or my daughter, we get really bad allergies, you can actually change those out when, you know, when maybe you feel like a little bit too much is getting into the air, which I think is cool to be able to control your destiny. Outlet, another window, again, tinted, Dracula shade, opens up. It does have the floor vents, which is nice because you'll have a little bit of a bigger furnace, but they are going to be covered so you don't really notice them, which I think is coming in handy. If you're going to have the furnace like that, then, you know, you have the nicer floor vents, in my opinion. And this will drop down to make a bed for some additional sleeping as well. Speaker system right here. It's going to be like one of those pills, so you pop it off the wall, take it out with you. You're ready to rock. You get this little friendly guy. Fishing, fire, hiking, biking, camping, baby. And then right there, let's see here, equipped with RB airflow system for your comfort. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but it's cool. There's the ducting right here too. So the ducting is going to be one that just kind of runs in a straight shot all the way back through the bedroom. You can see kind of running in a line there into the bathroom. Shotgun style bathroom. I know a lot of you guys aren't huge fans of it. It has never bothered me. I actually kind of prefer the separation. You know, if you have the grandkids over, sure, I can understand, but you don't have to worry about getting trapped by the pooper because you do have your own separate entrance. But it's a really nice way to break up the camper, especially if it's a solo traveler. Porcelain foot flush throne for you chubbies out there. You are ready to rock. And, you know, speaking of which, I'm 6 foot, 300 pounds, and you can see in the shower, I've got enough room to get the job done. You got about 6'1" or so to right here, probably about 6'3" or so here up into the sunroof. And you got the little curtain right there just to, you know, to top it all off. You flip it around, you got another mirror, another gun. Bada bing, bada boom. About a half knuckle there, about a knuckle there. And then right here you have your Suburban on-demand hot water heater as well. So basically, as long as you have propane, you're going to have hot water, which is nice. Lasts a little bit longer than those gas and electric. And then your GFCI stainless steel bowl. And then I know you got more stuff to put, you know, more things. So you got the ability to do that there too as well. And then into the bedroom, nothing too crazy. Really just kind of getting it done. You got the north to south bed. I do like how they do it across the brands as a whole, not just the Stratus, but really all of KZ. Their bedrooms are always really nice in terms of storage. I mean, that goes back pretty darn deep. I mean, you can fit, you know, like a winter jacket or something like that if you wanted to. And then even up here, it's, wow, that is, okay, nice. It's one piece. I didn't notice that. It's also going to be hands-free on the strut system. And then back behind, you can kind of see right here, you have outlets, USBs, you know, place for your CPAP machines, books, laptops, you know, whatever you might want to do. And you also got an emergency exit, so pull, push, and plop, get out in a hurry if you would like right here. You also have a TV backer location, so if you like to watch TV, there you go. Appropriate plugins, and then you're prepped up for the Wi-Fi there too as well. So if you got a little bit of work done while you're on the road, you can. Air conditioner circuit. This connection is for air conditioners rated 120. Okay. So this is going to be a 50 amp one, so you can put in a second AC. It is going to be prepped for it, but here in the Midwest, usually not doing that, I would say. Not on this size camper, at least. But if you camp where it's like 100 degrees out, you probably want to go ahead and invest in that. But what do you guys think? I think it's pretty darn snazzy. We'll go around the outside, spend about 3 minutes there, show you what she's all about. But I think it's pretty darn cool. Again, it's the 2025 Stratus 241VRK. Again, Venture rear kitchen. And in case you missed it the first time around, all of the specifications, length, height, tank sizes, awning sizes, all that good stuff will be down in the description, along with a link for Funtown RV where I am at today. So that way you can see, you know, some pricing on this bad boy. All right, so coming around on the sides, you're going to have the aluminum backing here, wood truss as well, so you can get up there and kind of walk around if you would like, which is nice. They actually have pretty good pass-through storage here. I mean, look at that. That's a little bit larger. This is a sock that I've been using to clean the lens, so got to get that out of there. But you flip it around here, you got your rock guard here up front, you got your fiberglass leading up with some LED lights there up top, which I really like. And again, your stabilizer system, along with your 2 propane bottles, battery, and then a battery disconnect as well. You're also going to get a heated and enclosed underbelly. And again, remember, the 12-volt heated pads that stick onto the tanks, so you can use this a little bit longer. A little bit of an upgraded awning. So you have the 3000 series Solera. It's going to be a 12-volt awning, and you can see it's also very large. And I point out 12-volt because that means it'll run off of the battery, so you don't have to worry about getting stuck. If you lose power, you can pull it in and out. They're pretty darn common, but when I first started selling RVs, that wasn't the case. And sometimes your RV could, you know, you could get it stuck on there, which was always a pain in the butt if you lost some power. I remember shooting some of these videos a long time ago, and the battery would, my little generator would die. Couldn't get the things back in. It always drove me nuts. You're also using Goodyear Endurance tires too, which is nice. These are the ST 205 75 R15s as well. And you can see they're a little bit separated. So it's going to be a little bit more of a comfortable drive because you have an upgraded suspension system there. Lippert screen defenders on both with the screen shot. So you can see right here, it's got that little band. So basically when you unclick it, it'll kind of like close there for you. So it's like a little bit of a slingshot action. Coming around the back, you do have a ladder to get, again, on top of your fully walkable roof. You have a bumper with your spare tire, along with your camera prep. So if you want to see what's going on behind you with some distance markers, you are more than able to do so. The slide out over here, if you would like, you can put a slide topper on. So it's a piece of awning that goes from there to there. It prevents debris from falling on top of your unit. And then there's the back end of that water heater. And again, it is going to be the tankless water heater running off the propane. Get one of your drains right there. Right there. That's going to be your wastewater. And then you got your sewer connection right here, along with your 50 amp connection right there. And then your docking station. So this is going to be like, oh shoot, can't open it there. But it's going to be your, where like your outdoor shower is and some of your bypass valves and things like that for your winterization. Let's see here. Solar pre-wire. Okay, so this one doesn't have solar, but it is pre-wired for it. So you'll be able to put 200 up there to link it up to 40. Or up to 400. Black tank flush valve as well, which is basically a sprinkler system there for your poop tank. But all right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the tour. Again, my name is Hunter. This is the 2025 Stratus 241VRK. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. See ya. Rum dum ba da da ba da bum shum ba da bum rum bum ba da bum shum bum bum dum ba da bum bum ba da bum bum ba da bum.